India is also vying to be the world's biggest manufacturing hub, and China has always been that. And we've overtaken China in smartphone production, I hear, in first quarter. But that said, we still rely on a lot of raw materials from China. So we need China to give us that raw material, but China certainly is also in itself a massive manufacturing hub.
Well, let me put it this way. Many companies of Europe or United States, even of Japan, look for a China plus one diversification strategy. And therefore, for them, India is an important area for manufacturing. Yes, we are the second largest manufacturer, but we are mostly into assembly. We need to get into component manufacturing. So I think if you look at the recent, statement and report that came up from Niti Aayog, I think what India will do it this way. And I strongly believe it is easier to deal with China because we know there are challenges. We know the no-go areas for China. So when it comes to critical infrastructures, there will not be any Chinese investments allowed. When it comes to other areas which are sensitive in nature, there may not be any Chinese investments. But in non-sensitive sectors, for example, say consumer durables, for example, as India is pushing towards becoming self-sufficient in electronics manufacturing or say renewable energy, you might see, as per the Niti Aayog report, they have advocated for allowing 24% stake in Indian companies' investment from China. So I think if India wants to be a major manufacturing hub, it has to be advocated and told to the Chinese, and the Chinese have to realize that we work as a complement to the Chinese manufacturing proficiency. We cannot come up, and we will not come up as a complete alternative, because that will not happen. So I think that's where the shared interest comes in. Chinese investments in non-sensitive sectors may be allowed in lieu of China assuring resilience of supply chain when it comes to critical minerals, rare earth magnets, tunnel boring machines and fertilizers. And what has happened is this, my last statement, for a long period of time since 1945, the issue has been that if you have to be defined as a developed country, you have to align with the West. We are seeing for the first time not an anti-West, but a non-Western alignment happening among many of the Asian economies. And yes, there will be desperation from the West. There will be challenges. We have our own challenges. But please understand, if the European countries, after having fought for each other for thousands of years, can come together and have a European Union in spite of all the problems. We do have problems with China, but we will have to reach a stage where we understand each other's concern. And I think this visit is not going to solve all the problems,
correct,
but it is a great opening for exploring issues. And I think China today, before 2020, how the situation was, today understands that India is not a pushover. You cannot do salami slicing from India, and you need to give that space to India, which is in mutual interest for both the countries.